Hello everyone, my name is Colm Walsh from the Marine Environmental Data and Information Network, also known as MEDIN, and today I'll be talking to you about how MEDIN are enhancing the global ocean data ecosystem with non-spatial marine data. So just for a bit of context, I'll need to explain a little bit about MEDIN. So we are a long-term open partnership of UK organisations committed to improving access to marine science data. We're funded and governed by a consortium of sponsors who lead the UK in marine data management, and each of our sponsors are represented on the bottom of the slide here. Medin's vision is that all of UK marine data are fair, which, as we all know, is findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. And a key objective for Medin is to support the UK marine sector to implement global and cross-domain interoperable marine data services. Considering that marine data are quite expensive to collect and are a unique snapshot of a time and a place, our ethos is to measure once, use many times, so we really champion the reuse of marine data that already exists. Menon is open to anyone who has an interest in marine data, and we've been promoting good data management practices since 2008. So we are essentially a hub for UK marine data, and we work with UK organisations to promote good data management practices and deliver data to the marine community. These data sets are then fed directly into the Medin portal, which, as you can see in the slide here, and this is a federated system that provides access to 18,500 marine data sets, and roughly 85% of these metadata records come directly from 7 Medin accredited data archive centers, and their collections and also the collections of some of our other partners can be accessed on the right-hand side, just under data collections. And then with the remaining 15%, these come from a mix of public and private UK organisations. So there are 600 different organizations in total that collect or manage marine data in the Medin portal, and we have over 60 partners who conform to good data management practices and the Medin Discovery Metadata Standard. So the Medin portal is underpinned by the Medin Discovery Metadata Standard. It is a long-standing marine-specific geospatial standard, and it was first published back in 2009. So metadata complying with the Medin standard feeds into the Medin portal, essentially allowing people to discover datasets, find out what the datasets contain, where they were collected, and how they can access the data itself. So the Medin standard is a marine profile of the UK Gemini standard, which itself is a UK specific profile of the EU Inspire directive, which was derived from the international standard organizations ISO 19115, which is ISO's Geographic Information Standard, and also ISO 19139, which is their XML implementation schema. You might also find yourself wondering what makes the Medin standard marine specific, and in a nutshell, that is the use of control vocabularies that are tailored for marine data. So not only do the control vocabularies make the Medin standard marine specific, but they also make it more interoperable as well. And as effective as the Medin standard has been for data discoverability over the years, one limitation of the standard is that it focuses exclusively on marine geospatial data, and therefore it's not suitable for non-spatial data types such as laboratory results data, socioeconomics data, model outputs data, species traits, DNA sequences, histology data, documentation reports, just to name a few. And this limitation was highlighted by Medin stakeholders that manage such data types, and essentially they would like to make these data discoverable in the Medin portal. So with that, we decided to form an associated working group to find a solution that would allow our stakeholders to publish such data. And the solution that we chose was to extend our existing standard to include ISO's non-geographic dataset resource type. And to achieve this, we looked at our existing geospatial standard and the existing metadata elements that describe a geospatial dataset record, and we removed the elements that were specifically for describing the spatial aspects of a marine dataset. So, for example, things like geographic bounding box and spatial reference system, elements like that. And then for the elements that we kept in the standard, we amended the semantic descriptions of these to remove any spatial aspects and requirements that are simply not applicable to non-spatial data. So in a nutshell, a non-geographic dataset is actually very similar to a normal geospatial dataset record, just without the spatial elements. So with that, we went ahead and we published a new non-spatial standard guidance document. This was back in October 2024, and this was to complement our existing long-standing geospatial standard. And as far as we're aware, this is actually the first of its kind, and we believe that this actually places MEDIN on the forefront in this area. And in the document itself, MEDIN describes a non-spatial dataset as marine data that are independent of geographic location. And just like the MEDIN geospatial standard, it is also derived from ISO 19115 and ISO 19139, which, as I mentioned earlier, is ISO's XML implementation standard. And yeah, so the new non-spatial standard guidance document is available to download from the MEDIN website using the link in the slide, and you can also find it on our MEDIN GitHub. But we didn't stop there. So in addition to publishing the new non-spatial standard guidance, we also updated the MEDIN portal to accommodate non-spatial metadata for publication. So you can see in the slide that the portal now supports datasets, series, services, and also non-geographic dataset metadata. And then recognizing the importance of socioeconomics data, DEFRA, who are the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs in the UK, and who are also one of our MEDIN sponsors and a key data archive centre, DEFRA stepped in to fund the expansion of our online metadata editor to support non-geographic dataset creation. So now the MEDIN online metadata editor allows users to create MEDIN-compliant, non-spatial discovery metadata records, validate them, and publish them directly into the MEDIN portal alongside their spatial counterparts. But again, the non-spatial discoverability journey does not end at the MEDIN portal. And this is because we are a key partner of the Otis Federation, which, as I'm sure you're all aware, is the Ocean Data and Information System. And Otis harvests MEDIN's catalog of datasets from the MEDIN portal and indexes them into their own digital ecosystem. And from there, they then become discoverable on Ocean Info Hub, which facilitates the global discoverability of our marine data. And therefore, any non-spatial marine data published in the MEDIN portal will also flow through to Otis, where a broader and more international user base will be able to discover them on Ocean Info Hub. So just to quickly summarize, by extending the MEDIN standard to include a non-spatial dataset standard, MEDIN stakeholders can now draft MEDIN-compliant non-spatial metadata using our online metadata editor, and this allows users to publish it directly into the MEDIN portal, where the non-spatial metadata will become discoverable to the UK marine community. And those non-spatial datasets will then get harvested by Otis and published on Ocean Info Hub. So by integrating non-spatial and spatial marine data, this enhances the global ocean data ecosystem, which in turn will facilitate informed decision making and support effective and sustainable planning, which will ultimately lead to improved environmental management. Now, lastly, for anyone who's interested, you can check us out on the MEDAN website, Ocean Info Hub, our newsletter, Marine Data News, and you can also follow us on social media. Thank you all for your time. Does anyone have any questions?